Today's is Professor Will, CBMD, PhD. Today is Sunday, July 22nd, 2018. It's 12:00:46 seconds p.m. Eastern Standard Time. N dimensions, n-dimensional. The property of space indicating that n mutually perpendicular directions of motion are possible. Formally saying a space has n dimensions means that you can find n vectors in the space for which none is a linear combination of the others. In addition, in any set of n plus 1 vectors, one of them can be written as a linear combination of the other n vectors. Domain of definition, natural domain. Alternate terms for domain used to make it clear that the domain being referred to is not a restricted domain. Natural logarithm, the logarithm base e of a number, that is, the power of e, necessary to equal a given number. The natural logarithm of x is written in x. Negative direction, a way of describing a scatter plot of negativity associated with data. Negative number, a real number less than 0. 0 itself is neither negative nor positive. Negative reciprocal, opposite reciprocal, the result of taking the reciprocal of a number and then changing the sign. For example, the negative reciprocal of 5 is negative 1 over 5, and the negative reciprocal of negative 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. Note, perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. Negatively associated data, a relationship in paired data in which one variable's values tend to increase when the other decreases, and vice versa. In a scatter plot, negatively associated data tend to follow a pattern from the upper left to the lower right. Negatively associated data have a negative correlation coefficient. Neighborhood, a neighborhood of a number, A, is any open interval containing A. Newton's method, an iterative process using derivatives that can often but not always be used to find zeros of differentiable function. Note, in some circumstances, Newton's method backfires and gives successively worse and worse approximations. N-gon, a polygon with n sides. For example, an 8-gon is another name for an octagon. Undefined slope, no slope. The slope of a vertical line. A vertical line has undefined slope because all points on the line have the same x-coordinate. Non-adjacent, not next to. Nonagon, a polygon with 9 sides. Non-collinear, points that do not all lie on a single line. Concave, non-convex, a shape or solid which has an indentation or cave. Formally, a geometric figure is concave if there is at least one line segment connecting interior points which passes outside of a figure. Non-Euclidean geometry, any system of geometry in which the parallel postulate does not hold. Two commonly studied non-Euclidean geometries are hyperbolic geometry and elliptic geometry. Elliptic geometry, also known as Riemannian geometry. Singular matrix, non-invertible matrix, a square matrix which does not have an inverse. A matrix is singular if and only if its determinant is 0. Non-negative, not negative, that is greater than or equal to 0. Disjoint sets, non-overlapping sets, two or more sets which have no elements in common. Non-real numbers, the complex numbers that are not real, that is, the complex numbers with a non-trivial imaginary part. For example, 3 plus 2i is non-real, 2i is non-real, but 3 is real. Invertible matrix, non-singular matrix, a square matrix which has an inverse. A matrix is non-singular if and only if its determinant does not equal 0. Non-trivial, a solution or example that is not trivial. Often solutions or examples involving the number 0 are considered trivial. Non-zero solutions or examples are considered non-trivial. Non-zero, not equal to 0. A non-zero matrix is a matrix that has at least one non-zero element. A non-zero vector is a vector with magnitude not equal to 0. Mesh of a partition, norm of a partition, the width of the largest subinterval in a partition. Magnitude of a vector, norm of a vector, the length of a vector. Perpendicular, normal, orthogonal. At a 90-degree angle, note perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. Normalize a vector, normalizing a vector. For a given vector, the process of finding a unit vector which is parallel to it, this is done by dividing the given vector by its magnitude. Taylor polynomial, nth degree Taylor polynomial. An approximation of a function using terms from the function's Taylor series. An nth degree Taylor polynomial uses all the Taylor series terms up to and including the term using the nth derivative. Nth derivative, the result of taking the derivative of the derivative of the derivative, etc. Nth partial sum, the sum of the first n terms of an infinite series. Nth root, the number that must be multiplied times itself n times to equal a given value. Coordinates ordered pair, ordered triple, n tuple. On the coordinate plane, the pair of numbers giving the location of a point-ordered pair in three-dimensional coordinates, a triple of numbers giving the location of a point-ordered triple. In n-dimensional space, a sequence of n numbers written in parentheses. Empty set, null set, the set with no elements. Number line, a line representing the set of all real numbers. The number line is typically marked showing integer values. Numerator, the top part of a fraction. For 12 over 47, the numerator is 12. Oblate spheroid, a flattened sphere, more formally an oblate spheroid, is the surface of revolution obtained by revolving an ellipse about its minor axis. Note, the Earth is shaped like an oblate spheroid. Oblique, tilted at an angle neither vertical nor horizontal. Oblique asymptote, tilted asymptote, a linear asymptote that is neither horizontal nor vertical. Note, oblique asymptotes always occur for rational functions, which have a numerator polynomial that is 1 degree higher than the denominator polynomial. Oblique cone, a cone with an apex that is not aligned above the center of the base. Oblique cylinder, a cylinder with bases that are not aligned one directly above the other. Oblique prism, a prism with bases that are not aligned one directly above the other. Note the lateral faces of an oblique prism are parallelograms. Oblique pyramid, a pyramid with an apex that is not aligned above the center of the base. Obtuse angle, an angle that has a measure more than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. Obtuse triangle, a triangle which has an obtuse angle as one of its interior angles. Octagon, a polygon with 8 sides. Octahedron, regular octahedron, a polygon with 8 faces. A regular octahedron has faces that are all equilateral triangles. A regular octahedron looks like it was made by gluing together the bases of 2 square-based pyramids. Note, it is one of the 5 Platonic solids. Octants, the 8 regions into which three-dimensional space is divided by the x minus, y minus, and z minus axes. Odd even identities, plus minus identities, trig identities which show whether each trig function is an odd function or an even function. Odd function, a function with a graph that is symmetric with respect to the origin. Odd number, an integer that is not a multiple of 2. Odds, a way of representing the likelihood of an event occurrence. Odds is often short for odds against. Odds against, odds m:(n), read aloud m to n, against an event mean we expect the event will not to occur m times for every n times it does occur. Odds in favor, odds m:(n), read aloud m to n, in favor of an event mean we expect the event will occur m times for every n times it does not occur. Odds in gambling, a way of representing gambling payoffs of an event by a method similar to odds against. If the gambling odds are m to n, then a bet of n dollars pays m dollars profit if the bettor wins. One dimension, one dimensional. The property of a line which indicates that motion forward or backward can take place in only one direction. Formally saying a line has one direction means that you can find a non-zero vector on the line. In addition, for any set of 2 vectors on the line, one must be a multiple of the other. One-sided limit, either a limit from the left or a limit from the right. One-to-one function, a function for which every element of the range of the function corresponds to exactly one element of the domain. One-to-one is often written 1-1. Open interval, an interval that does not contain its endpoints. Function operations, definitions for combining functions by adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and composing them. Order of a differential equation, the number of the highest derivative in a differential equation. The differential equation of order 1 is called first order, order 2 second order, etc. Ordinal numbers, numerical words that indicate order. The ordinal numbers are first, second, third, fourth, etc. Ordinary differential equation, a differential equation which does not include any partial derivatives. Coordinate, the y-coordinate in a point x to y. For the point x, minus 2, the ordinate is minus 2. Origin, on the coordinate plane the point 0, 0, decimal. That is the point of intersection of the x minus y-axis. On a number line, the origin is the 0 point. In 3 dimensions, the origin is the point 0, 0, 0. Orthocenter, the point at which the 3 possibly extended altitudes of a triangle intersect. The orthocenter is one of the center of a triangle. Outcome, a single specific possible result of an experiment. Outlier, a data point that is distinctly separate from the rest of the data. One definition of the outlier is any data point more than 1.5 interquartile ranges. IQR below the first quartile are above the third quartile. Oval, an egg-shaped curve. Note, an oval is not the same as an ellipse. Overdetermined system of equations. A linear system of equations in which there are more equations than there are variables. For example, a system with 3 equations and only 2 unknowns is overdetermined. Note that an overdetermined system might be either consistent or inconsistent depending on the equations.